The glass is still half full, even if I throw the glass at the wall.
Yeah. It's half full, and then it's half empty, and then it's half full, and then it's half empty, and then it's half full again. You and I always say like we're kind of on the Ferris wheel. I mean, on with like hormones, the way that life goes, like life is freaked up. But we always remind ourselves like the Ferris wheel, it goes up and it comes back down. But then kind of at retrograde, it feels like it goes up and then like it breaks and then it reverses and then it goes
You're
off the
like
hinges.
waiting at the top. You're like, okay.
You get thrown off. But yeah, we did have a little bit of a cursed attempt of recording a couple nights ago.
We tried.
Episode 5.
The first time we tried to record, I was thinking about like the headspace I was in. I think part of the problem was listening to Lily Allen's new album in its entirety from start to finish.
So excited, so excited. I'll talk about love, oh no, oh no.
I think people are having a lot of fun with Pussy Palace because they may not relate to the story, but it's actually just like ringing in my ears now, kind of as a reminder that the men I've loved have been absolute heathens.
I hear your condition, and
Yeah.
I'm going to subscribe you to listen to, which you probably already have, Rosalia's album from start to finish.
I love it. It's
Yeah, I know you have,
holy
but
and sacred.
it's funny that you said you listened to Lily Allen all the way through, because today I listened to Rosalia's album all the way through, which I hadn't before. She was saying like how her intention was for people to like put down your phone, like listen to it all the way through, which I thought was beautiful, because she said like it is really hard to do anything without looking at your phone. I was like, no, this is so true.
That is something I like to do, just like entirely absorb an album. But yeah,
That
the
makes
Lily
sense.
Allen one,
You're like,
it's a choice if you have history with certain kinds of men. I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen more criticism of her album though, like criticism of kink shaming. And I thought to myself for a second, like, are we living in a post-kink society? But then I remembered that I live in West Hollywood and
yeah.
no, kink is,
I've
kink
seen
is alive
some.
and well. Yeah.
So I haven't been too invested in the news and the topic, so I couldn't speak much on it. But
It's a little
that's a
dark.
good warning to me. I don't know if I'll be listening to it all the way through now.
Yeah, I mean it's catchy, but then it's like not leaving.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more intentional about the type of media that I take in because I'm very sensitive.
Speaking about the type of media that we take in, I think I spent a little too much time last night looking up Jacob Elordi edits again, fan edits. Intentionally was searching for them. I'm back on that consumption. And then I woke up this morning and the new trailer for Wuthering Heights is out, which is,
Yes.
horny and
Yeah.
yearning and everything like that.
With
But
the
yeah.
Charlie XCX soundtrack,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I put on Brat while I was getting ready, which was put me in a much better place.
Okay, good. We've been struggling a little bit with
Yeah.
the Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, I mean, but we're getting through. It's just been a little glitchy and a little sticky here the past couple days.
Another fun thing this week to combat our retrograde was the Northern Lights kind of
Oh,
showed
yeah.
up here. Which, of course, like is beautiful. But at the same time, it's kind of a dangerous, it's an omen from Mother Nature in a way. Our
Yeah.
geomagnetic storms, they disrupt our ionosphere, which can lead to major, like it kind of goes with retrograde because it can disrupt everything: radio waves,
That makes
satellites,
sense.
aviation, like railroads. It's GPS. It's kind of a national security threat. So everyone is like, including
It's
me,
like,
I'm like, you're so beautiful.
it's like in the sky, like
Yeah.
telling us.
It's kind of crazy. So it's
And
it's
we're all
not
just like,
really
wow, it's so beautiful.
yeah. And then I'm like, "Wah, wah, wah." They were pretty to see still, but it's definitely that whole duality, right? Which I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of a topic of the day too. It's kind of as we get into Frankenstein, retrograde, friendship, there's just duality. Beautiful
We're
but scary. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching are feeling it too. I was kind of listening to somebody talk about the retrograde, and she said something that resonated with me. So I'll just kind of regurgitate that. She said, what falls apart during this time was already unstable. What comes back was never truly gone. What gets delayed is being redirected. Trust the process. The universe is rearranging things in your favor, even when it doesn't feel that way. So
mm,
I liked that because it kind of was like, bringing back in some positive redirection instead of,
rejection is protection.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. The my demons have been loud lately. The shadows are loud, the emotions are louder. Let's lean in.
Yeah.
Let's lean in.
Yeah.
Last week, Bailey introduced our new segment, Echo Chamber, a word association game designed to reveal subconscious thoughts, feelings, maybe fears, desires. It's a fun way to get to know someone below the surface. We like to go below the surface here at Dream TV. So we're going to do that again. I'll be saying the words this time. I'll say a word. Bailey will quickly give us her immediate reaction. It's a little experiment and it's fun. Something that someone commented that I wanted to bring up with the word association is that not everyone thinks of words, but they might see an image or have a feeling, and same thing. So you would just say the word for whatever image comes to mind. Okay, so let's dive in. Are you ready,
Yay.
Bailey?
I'm entering the echo chamber.
This is Echo Chamber on Dream TV.
First word, sponge.
Fantasy.
Frankenstein.
Love.
Air.
Breathe.
Mother.
Oh, so many things just came to mind. Lover.
Okay. Saturn.
Daddy.
Toothbrush.
Fetish.
Okay, next. Venus.
Aphrodite.
Loyalty.
Till the end.
AI.
Cursed.
Sephora.
Oops.
And finally, after dark.
Sordid tales.
Ooh, okay.
After dark.
Speaking of,
Speaking of after dark, which by the way, a lot of those answers, maybe sometime we'll get into that stuff, but
yeah,
we might get into some of that stuff on After Dark, which we'll be
yeah.
offering it on our Patreon as a paid subscription.
I do launch little mini episodes where the stories about our colorful past will get a little juicier,
Yeah.
a little riskier. So you can join us there if you're curious and brave.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And so we will keep you guys updated where to subscribe. We just kind of want a space to have a little fun and explore some topics that we're not probably going to go into here.
On
But
YouTube, yeah. And maybe we'll be just recording those from bed
I think we will. I think that's
where we both live.
get out of bed to come to a couch or a chair.
Yeah. And that's really hard.
It can be.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to Frankenstein. Let's talk about Frankenstein.
There's so much to say.
We
There's
watched it
just
We watched it together. We watched it at the same time from opposite coasts and texted each other. It's a gothic romance meets science horror.
Meets beautiful, masterful artwork.
Yeah,
Like every
visual
frame,
treats.
yes, every frame in that movie could be like a painting
Yeah.
on a wall. Just practical effects and Guillermo del Toro's like just passion and creativity and like love for movie making. Just, I don't know. I love a lot of his movies before, and he just, yeah, exceeded all expectations.
Yeah, it was a treat. Mia Goth floats around in jewel tone gowns and archival Tiffany, and Jacob Elordi is monster.
He is the beautiful creature.
The slow, extreme, creeping movements. That was what really struck me was the way he moved.
Hmm.
Beyond
Isolating his body
obviously just the
parts.
makeup, which was amazing. But yeah.
I loved that as well.
There are a lot of elements of fire in the movie, and I just think of Oscar Isaacs, who played Victor Frankenstein, as like the fuel.
Sun is life.
A freaky little madman. He did it very well.
Now, there is an argument that the story of Frankenstein is kind of just about being a woman. We've got some points. It was written by a woman in 1816. First and foremost, it is a story about a lack of choice. It's about creation without agency. Yeah, Victor Frankenstein creates life. The creature is born without a mother. It brings to mind themes of maybe the fear of reproductive power, the marginalization and desire to control that process. The creature suffers because you could argue of his lack of nurturing, and it really highlights, I think, the importance of these roles that historically women have been expected to do without recognition, without pay, emotional labor, the labor of care, nurturing. I don't want to give too many spoilers away about the movie, but in the book, all of the women die or are constrained as a direct result of men's actions. Frankenstein kind of has an inability to move on from loss, and he makes it everyone's problem. It's about alienation, being othered, for stepping outside of societal norms. And when he's actually building the creature, because he's piecing him together from various parts and limbs from bodies that are found on battlefields and such. I just thought about kind of the pressure to piece yourself into an ideal form and how we're judged and scrutinized for failing to embody perfection. And Mary Shelley did notably also write a vindication of the rights of women, which argued that women should be included in decision making and argued for coeducational opportunities, and basically just making the statement that women are rational beings and should be partners to men intellectually and morally, and not just objects for pleasure and leisure. But ultimately, it's about loneliness, I think, and a lot of fluid human experiences that can't really be gendered. That was kind of just a joke, but
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I kind of had that thought too, in the
yeah.
sense of like the creature could possibly represent the role of young women in society, and by that it's controlled by a man
Yeah.
and judged for its appearance, like we're judged for our appearance, and ultimately rejected when they seek independence. So
Mhm.
I think that it's fair to go there. You know me, I'm all in the interviews because I'm kind of a
Yeah.
nerd. I nerd
BTS.
out.
I know
I
Bailey like tries to text me while we're watching the movie, like this means this and they did this and I'm like, just let the art wash over me. Okay, we'll recap after.
I kind of stem
Yeah.
out on like, and I'm like, I have to
I'm
know.
not as much of a behind the scenes girl. I don't seek it out as much because I'm very like I like to pretend that it's all real and I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get that way too. My brain is so, I like knowing everything.
I didn't love the CGI animals, I have to say. It takes me out of it. That was my one criticism. But
I could agree with that. But one other thing that I really loved that I just wanted to say, I was watching an interview that Guillermo del Toro was doing, and the interviewer asked him, like, at the core of a lot of his films, there's always, or there seems to be a misunderstood monster who's just looking for love. And in response, he kind of said that that is the common thread because to him love is such a mystery, and that he doesn't understand why we fall in love or out of love, or when it happens, but fortunately for us it does happen. And whether that's between like a mother and a child or siblings or a friend or with a pet or whatever.
yeah.
But that the one mystery of love is that no matter who you think of or who you love, like if you don't have that, you disintegrate. And love is the energy that binds us together. And I really loved that he said that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Like you said on the overarching theme, or it's ultimately about loneliness. I really liked the quote when the creature says to Elizabeth when she's dying, he says, "To be lost and to be found, that is the lifespan of love."
Beautiful. Did it make me cry?
I mean, it did make me cry when I
And
was.
then lost again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The creature really just needed a friend at the end of the day. And don't we all?
We do.
Because that movie, I think, also raises the question of the soul and what constitutes a soul. I think about how some belief systems suggest that the soul is a continuum of consciousness that carries lessons and affinities across incarnations. Deep friendships may be karmic connections. I think people like to talk about twin flames and soulmates in the context of romantic relationships a lot, but I thought we could talk a little bit about maybe how friendships are more important.
Yeah.
Or maybe just fundamentally different.
But I think arguably more important.
Yeah, I figured you would say that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel blessed for the friendships that I do have now and that I've been able to nurture. And most of them I think about like at this age and point in my life, I'm 34, almost 35. And they all of they feel like soul connections because like at the core, at the base of them, it's just like they've come out of something, like you said, a shared experience or even a trauma. Or in our case, like we did come together like in a fun way, but it just ended up being like such a soulful, like we just knew it was sisters. And that's really
Yeah,
cool.
kind of immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. Immediately.
And a lot of, like, most of my closest friends were like that. Yeah, just instant recognition.
Right. Which is
And
special because you don't really have that in relationships.
yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
you
some people, it just doesn't last. But, like, I
exactly.
definitely,
The
I'm
trust.
like, well, coming from a Libra, sometimes I do.
That's true. But then the
And
trust
then,
is a little bit missing. It lacking in
yeah,
the end.
exactly. It's a
Yeah.
different, I think there you have more trust in your
Yeah.
friendships and um, longevity and stability,
Yeah.
consistency, consistent emotional support.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
maybe there's like less pressure
hmm
to conform or to have to embody certain roles or negotiate life plans. You're not like constantly having to meet in the middle necessarily. You can just be yourself. I think that it may also make it feel easier to be honest.
when I think about life and I think about, and I'm going into the future, I feel a lot of security and gratitude knowing that like I will know my friends when we're old. So I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever happens with me, whatever. If we're lucky to get to age together, like that makes me feel like, yeah, that makes me feel good and secure. At least I have like my friends. I think about that. I'm like, we'll be all together.
Yeah. And I think that you and I have, I don't know exactly when it happened, but I think that we both at some point consciously made a choice to prioritize friendship, maybe over romantic relationships and relationships with men. I mean, you certainly have.
I'm like, I
But
could think about when that happened.
but me too. I'm like
Yeah.
if I can't justify my relationship to you, then I can't really be in that relationship. Like you and my responsibility to our relationship and its longevity really comes first for
Yeah.
me. And I don't think that everyone is like that. I don't think that all women are like that. I think that, we all have friendships that are really important to us, but I think some people prioritize finding romantic love and romance or building a family or
Mhm.
whatever it is.
It's a choice because I keep saying at my age, but it's true. All of our choices hold a lot of weight for our future. And whatever terms you're thinking about it under, whether it's a relationship with somebody, a significant other, or your friendships, you're thinking about how you want to build your future and the choices that you make and what you're trying to create and harness and I'm not saying you have to have one or the other between like a relationship and like
No.
deep friendships, but it becomes an easy choice when it's like, yeah, this person that I'm dating and my closest friend or friends, and it's like for me every time, like if that person isn't really meshing into that world of mine and meeting all those expectations, it's an easy like my friends
Yeah.
or my friend. It's impossible for me anymore to try so hard to make something work when I know that like what I have and my security of my few close friendships is just so much more valuable. We're getting into lesbian territory. You're like, we're not beating the allegations.
Oh, guys, I'm gonna get to that.
I really value independence. At the core of it, or at the end of the day, it's like we're gonna be there for each other no matter what. But it
Yeah.
doesn't require the constant energy.
After all, seasons change. So do cities. People come into your life and people go. But it's comforting to know the ones you love are always in your heart. And if you're very lucky, a plane ride away.
Relationships change, friendships change as you get older too. Because we were going to talk about friendship, I was trying to think of someone I know who has really good depictions of female friendships. And I love Julia Fox, and I read her book this year. And I don't know if she really got enough credit for her book Down the Drain. I don't always listen to audiobooks, but if the author narrates it, That's my favorite. And she's got such an iconic voice, and you really get it's her life story about growing up in New York City, but she spends a lot of time and detail illustrating the complexities of female friendships and how they were always really central to her life. She's referred to them as survival jackets, and they can anchor you when there's instability in your family life or in your romantic relationships. But also, there's often, especially when you're young, an intensity and a codependency that can border on obsession sometimes. Amid the chaos of life and change and addiction, sometimes romance. But I just really love the way that she describes her friendships because they're neither purely idealized nor purely dysfunctional. And I was going to read a little excerpt from her book because I think it just really is like a beautiful little vignette of kind of like your first experiences of female friendships. And it kind of led me into thinking about how those evolve as you mature and get older. She talks about being devastated when her best friend moves away until she makes a new best friend, and then they're obsessed with each other and they write each other's names on their sneakers, and she talks about how she smells like vanilla body spray and she knows exactly how long it takes to walk to her apartment. You're my soulmate. No, you're my soulmate, she says. Our friendship is so intense that all her friends refer to us as lesbians. Rose is Rose is friends with the popular girls who all claim that Rose is their best friend. And that might be true, but she reassures me that I'm hers. The popular girls welcome me into their clique when they discover I always have a stale pack of cigarettes from Italy in my backpack. I don't even really smoke them. I just like feeling like a grown-up. I know Dominique from elementary school. She lives in Brooklyn. We would often have sleepovers at each other's houses, and she even told me I was her best friend once. However, she wasn't mine. We fought a lot because she was jealous of my friendship with Danny. The fights mostly consisted of her bullying me and getting everyone else to ostracize me, which is a common experience. One day I fought back and she started crying, and she never messed with me again. Abilene was voted the prettiest girl in school. She's Dominican and lives in the Bronx. She loves to sing and dance, and all the guys like her, even Tommy, my crush. Tara is Jewish and lives in the Upper East Side. She gets her hair chemically straightened and never wears the same outfit twice. We call ourselves the Lady Spades, and we almost immediately start bringing out the worst in each other. And I just thought that was so cute because it's like so middle school and high school.
Nostalgic.
It was hell at the time, but now looking back, I'm like, it's sweet. But I'm like, sometimes I was crying in the bathroom at lunch.
So I was getting notes from girls telling me they were gonna bomb me, but
You girls can be vicious. Vicious.
but I think that turned us both into girls.
No, it's true. And yeah, that's honestly what it made me think about. I think I grew out of my competitiveness with other girls at a pretty young age because I saw the pain that we were all carrying, and I just loved girls and I wanted to be around them. You just never really know what people have going on or what's influencing them. For whatever reason, a lot of girls were, I don't know if they were intimidated by me or saw me as a threat, but there was often like a guard up. And I noticed that they would soften when they realized that I just wanted to lift them up and joke around and help each other to get through all of the stuff that we were navigating. and that I was self-deprecating and that I was imperfect and flawed. But I do think that it kind of turned into, over time, a practice of maybe making myself smaller a little bit so that I wasn't threatening. I just really always wanted to be non-threatening. And I think I ended up doing a lot of extra emotional labor and people pleasing as a result so that
Yeah.
my existence wouldn't trigger anyone. And as I got older, I realized that often I was putting a lot more energy into some of my friendships than I could ever expect to be reciprocated. I think in my late 20s and even still now, I'm like learning to put some of that down, and like you said, it doesn't have to be so high maintenance. I shouldn't have to try so hard to prove that I'm trustworthy after a
No.
certain amount of time, or that I haven't stopped loving you because I'm off figuring out my life.
Life happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think we're like too old for the possessiveness and or jealousy and comparison. And if you're still doing that, that's on you.
Turn
I don't know.
inward. Turn inward.
Yeah. It feels
Jealousy always comes from a place of fear or lacking or desire. And I think true, genuine friendships, you're allowed to have those feelings, but utilizing that mirror as something that you can reflect back on yourself can be a really useful tool if you can be vulnerable enough to do it rather
yeah.
than projecting it. Because I think all women throughout the history of growing up, going through puberty, going through mean middle school and horrible high school, and if you had a great experience, that's awesome. But a lot of us get caught up in the pits of, in the throes of like
It's
all of
war.
that.
It's war.
Yeah. And as an adult, it's kind of like if those things are coming up, I really feel like we have a responsibility to ourselves and our friends to either be honest about it or work it out within ourselves. Or like, yeah, if you present those feelings to somebody to then, like that just strengthens your friendship. Like it's okay to admit certain things or be like, oh, like this made me feel weird. We should be nurturing our friendships, our communities. Like we need each other. We are the most important people on the planet. Just kidding, but we are.
Yeah, but it just feels easier to celebrate each other and celebrate our differences and having our own lives. And I'm genuinely happy when my friends do well and are happy.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. That's all that I care about. If people are happy and doing what they love to do, like that, even if we didn't talk for 6 months or a year, I am getting joy from you having joy. Like I will see someone having the thing that they want. It gives me hope and it makes me feel like, wow, even if it's something that they have that I want, and I'm like, that gives me hope. You have that?
It
Like,
just means like you can have it. Yeah.
exactly. And why would I not want everyone to have everything that they want?
Yeah.
I briefly talked about my story with dancing. And like when I first walked into the club, it was really intimidating. And I had this interaction with this girl, and it really freaked me out because she was like, I got in her way when we were getting ready. And she was like, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And she was like, don't say sorry. Like, you don't
Yeah.
want to be acting like that in here. And I like cried, and I was like, hold back your tears. Like, you have to go audition. But, I think walking into that environment where it's like, I mean, everyone's competitive in there. You're competing, but that immediate thing just made me feel like whoever I hang with in here, whoever I meet, I'm going to be me. I'm going to have an open heart. I'm going to try and make the women and the girls that I'm working with just feel, I mean, I think I disarm people with humor a lot, but also like with care. Like I want, I would not want that feeling for somebody else. And me and that
Yeah.
girl ended up being friends. She just kind of had like an edge to her that I just,
That's usually how it goes though. Like I also don't know anyone who's worked in a strip club that hasn't had an experience of like at least light bullying.
yeah.
But but it was the same for me in high school. Like I usually ended up being friends with the girls who were bullying me or being mean to me because yeah, I would just disarm them with flattery a lot of
Yeah.
times and just making a joke out of everything. And then I think that's
I
kind of when I realized I was bi too, because I remember like,
awakening.
God, this girl like really had it out for me because I was hanging out with her ex-boyfriend and it was this whole scene that could be in a movie where she showed up to my house with like two cars full of girls and she like pushed my front door open and like came into my house, pushed me on my stairs. It was a whole thing. But then
Wow.
we we ended up um playing lacrosse together. Maybe later that year or the next year, I remember this scene of being in the locker room with her as she's like in some level of disrobing. She's like talking to me just in her bra. She was gorgeous. She brought up the whole incident like so casually. It was nothing, you know. And she was like, "Yeah, like sorry about that. I was going through something. Like I don't know. I'm sorry." And I remember just looking at her, barely hearing what she was saying, but just thinking like, "God, she's so beautiful." I was just like, "Yeah, whatever. Like it's fine." You know, it just always happened like that. So, yeah, I think we developed thick skin as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. During the character building years.
Yeah.
In middle school, I kind of had the thing where like I was tiny and cute and a cheerleader and like, I've always been kind of like the funny girl. Like I'll claim that. It's always been me, but I think like I was really cute and like I had girls that, would be like, "Oh, when you wear eyeliner, like you look like a slut and we just want you to know." Like this and this and that. Like they were so mean for no
We
reason.
just want you to know.
Yeah, like my best friends. And then like high school, I kind of put on some weight. And so then like, the cool girls would all kind of really talk mean about me. Like I'd be the last one who like didn't have a date to prom. And then like the last guy in the group would be like, "Oh, well, I guess I have to ask you because, like it was kind of like that vibe. It can make you have a thick skin, but also like still like have a softness with people, I guess. You learn like self-preservation and protection and the ways that we cope with that, which is through humor a lot. You soften yourself to people and maybe even your bullies because like you become very aware of how to process emotions. Being misunderstood at that age, I think as you evolve, if you choose to evolve that way, it just creates a greater empathy within yourself. And yeah, of course, there's negative things that could come from that. Like you said, making yourself feel small or always worrying about, is everyone happy? Are people mad at me? Like what's my impact on the room right now? Or like, did I do enough with this person to make them feel okay?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would rather be that way than still be, I don't subscribe to that type of negative
Yeah.
female friendship.
No. I do think it's funny when you run into situations where you realize that not everyone grew up that way. Not everyone has a thick skin. And I think there is a little bit of a generational difference there because I remember working in a restaurant and like accidentally making a girl cry one time because I jokingly called her a brat, said she was being a brat because she wanted to leave early. And I was totally kidding. And she went in the bathroom and was crying. And I was like, "Oh my God, I had to go do damage control." And I was like, "I'm really sorry." I was like, "I'm really sorry. Like, I don't know. I grew up with people saying horrible things to
Yeah.
me all the time. And it just like got to a point where things just roll off my back. Like I just don't, there's nothing you could say to me that's
No.
really going to phase me because I was getting called a slut when I was like 11.
Right. So it also creates like an intense sarcasm because I'm the same way. Like I
Yeah.
am very sarcastic. And I welcome that like joking and like give me shit, I'll give you shit. Like read me all day, I'll give it back to you. But like you
Yeah.
said, there is a
Gotta be
generational
careful.
difference. Because I can think about instances with me like that too, where I'm just like talking shit, and it's like someone else hears and they're like, that girl's so mean. If I'm like talking shit to my boss or something, and they're like,
Yeah.
whoa, that girl is like, did she just say that? I'm like, oh, like, I'm just talking shit. Like, that means I love
Yeah.
you.
I think that we communicate well because we are both air signs. Bailey's a Aquarius and I'm a Libra. I think we naturally operate in the realm of the dynamic and an intuitive rapport. But there's definitely always that a tone of lightness and playfulness that just makes everything fun. And I think that's why we get along so well. And I think that air sign friendships are iconic. I wanted to share something with you, which I haven't really talked to you about this yet, but I'm excited about it. I think it's
Okay.
cool and I think you're going to like it. So, you can make a birth chart for an event or a creative project or business, etc., etc. It's called an electional chart. Electional astrology studies beginnings.
Okay.
So when something started, when you brought something into the world. So when something like officially launches would be its birth time.
Okay.
So I did it with the podcast.
Yay! Oh
And
my God.
I
Let's hear
scrolled
it.
back through our text and found when I texted you and said that our first episode was live on YouTube. And I used that as the official timestamp, October 24th, 2025. I think it's special that I posted everything from Santa Fe because that kind of makes Santa Fe, New Mexico, like special to me forever. The launch was a bit random. Like we didn't plan out or pick a specific day. We didn't look at the astrology ahead of
No.
time. It was kind of like we'd been thinking about this and working on it for months. And by the time we did our first recording and had everything together, we were kind of just like really ready to put it out and we just put it out. So now looking back at how the astrology turned out, it feels almost like more fated and destined. Obviously, it was Scorpio season, so our podcast Dream TV sun sign is Scorpio, which I know may not be like the most ideal sign for you, maybe. But Scorpio is the sign of alchemy and
Mhm.
transformation and taboos and what lies beneath and illuminating the unseen. It's emotional depth and magnetism. And Dream TV has its sun in the 12th house, which is hidden realms and literally the house of dreams,
Whoa.
which I just think is so cool. It's the collective unconscious, it's altered states, ancestors, the veil
Wow.
between worlds, channeling, spiritual service. So we've got like a cosmic psychological aura, um, because the sun is like your core expression,
Mhm.
or identity. We're like an energetic portal. And then our moon and our rising sign for Dream TV are both in Sagittarius in the first house, kind of your presentation to the world or like what your mask when you face the world is. And the moon is the emotional body and your inner life. And in Sagittarius, it's expansive, it's curious, it's optimistic. It speaks to listeners who crave spiritual freedom, exploration. Sagittarius is the sign of travel, education, big picture, insight, authentic storytelling. So I think it's a great balance. Like it's deep, but it's uplifting, it's intimate and alive, and there's a natural charisma and warmth. And I feel like Sagittarius is a sign that we both like. So
Yeah.
There's humor as well, open-mindedness. Yeah, bright communication through story and adventure. So those are our big three. But then
Wow.
also I wanted to know, because I'm really interested in North Node astrology, which people don't talk about as much, but
Mhm.
North Node, it's kind of like your soul's evolution or where you're pointed, or kind of like some people think it's intentions that you came into this life with, like lessons. And ours is in Pisces, which is the
Hmm.
dreamer,
It is.
and subconscious patterns and fantasy and spiritual concerns, and it's constantly seeking to expand to higher planes of activity beyond the material world. So I just thought it was all so fitting.
Yeah,
Going
it
deep
is.
within to bring forth a renewed understanding of how to serve others. And that's in the fourth house of home and roots. So I wrote, we thrive when we can create a safe, intimate space for our listeners, a sanctuary for curiosity where people can feel connected.
Yes.
Isn't that fun?
That's
Like, that's
amazing. I love that for us.
love astrology.
Yeah. I love that you did that.
You can like check it for certain dates and transits and stuff, and it's
Hmm.
kind of like our shared um
It's our
little,
baby.
it's like our child kind of.
My baby.
Our
No,
creative
that's
child.
I love that. Wow. You didn't tell me that. This is a good surprise.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised though, because like when things like that take place with astrology, it just kind of reinforces timing and life and intention. Like, okay, I'm on the right path.
Yeah, alignment.
And it's kind of
And
fun because next week we have our first guest, our most favorite Sagittarius. Speaking of Sagittarius,
oh my gosh, he's a Sagittarius. I
yes,
didn't know.
yes. So
Yeah.
we'll be having our friend Nick on.
Podcast is about to get a lot gayer.
Yeah, if you can imagine it.
Thank God. Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting Nick in person recently, and I already think he's one of the funniest people I've ever met. So,
Our soul brother. Oh, and speaking of Pisces, because you said Pisces, it made me think of Ben.
and brothers.
Yeah, my actual little brother. And just wanted to make a little side note. As I've been thinking about friendship and things happening this week, I thought it was really cool that Ben shared our podcast with some of his friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and we got really good feedback, which felt cool. I feel like I made it. I feel like a cool big sister, which is what I've always wanted. So shout
Of
out Ben.
course, you are a cool big sister. You were a good influence, I think, because he's like the sweetest guy ever. Dreamy Ben,
Yeah.
a few years ago when I was going through a bit of a rough time, kind of a really demented breakup situation that really had me down. And Bailey was living in Colorado and I was in North Carolina, so she couldn't be there for me physically, but her brother Ben happened to be um, in the Outer Banks, not far from where I lived at the time. And so she got him to meet me at the restaurant I worked at and bring me flowers. And it was just an image I'll never forget because I worked at this restaurant that was on the water and had a dock that went out um, on the water. And I got there a little early, and Ben was already there and he was waiting for me, standing out on the dock, wearing all white. He was wearing like all white linen and holding flowers, and his curls were like blowing in the wind. And it was just so healing. I was like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. And then when he brought me
Fabio.
flowers, he was so sweet. He didn't even know what the hell was going on in my life, but he just knew that Bailey said I needed a lift, and he definitely provided that. So that's what I
He
always think of.
Yes, he like showed out. He would. Like that's such a Ben thing, like romance novel cover, like
Yes.
Fabio looking. Like all I did was
All knight in
ask
shining
Ben,
armor. Yeah.
yeah, to like get the flowers. And of course he would be like in his white linen, like hair down flowing, like just cool, Mr. Cool, like
It was
Mr.
very Pisces. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Water.
I love that that was all him. And he has that touch of like just being genuine in the moment you need him to be. Like for instance, every time I see Ben, he always has fresh pastries for me.
That's
I'm like,
that's incredible.
that's so romantic, and just not, just in the platonic sense, but just like that, the
Yeah, but no.
romancing life, just
Yes.
the small gestures. Like, I just appreciate it. I feel proud to be his big sister, and and that story that you guys had, that moment, like that's, y'all will remember that forever.
I will. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Eventually we'll wrangle him on here or something. But he's best
Yeah.
friends with Nick, so you're kind of just getting a little bit of pieces of the full picture here. Like when we have Nick on, you'll see.
And you had your friends in Denver from Easy Vegan supporting you as well.
Yes, that on the topic of friendship, just kind of a full circle moment. Throughout my time in Denver, I was there for like 7 years, and I had my one-on-one close friendships, but I didn't really seek out social circles outside of that. I found the Easy Vegan girls, who were initially started as kind of like a pop-up. Then they went on the Great Food Truck Race, and it was just kind of cool because I would go out to see them, but it kind of created this sense of community for me that I did not have the entire time that I was in Denver. And it just really meant a lot for me, for my story in Denver the last few years I was there. And I just to have them kind of, come back and support us on our podcast journey just feels really special.
Reciprocity. Yeah, I love that you had that when you were in Denver, and we went to one of their watch parties, and it was so fun and wholesome. And I would just like to also say that I would love to find some lesbians in Los Angeles that will feed me, because I don't cook. And I don't have a lot of friends here. So just putting it out there if you guys know anyone.
I know. Or Easy Vegan, if you have any lesbian adjacent
Yes.
vegan food girlies in LA, which you might from the show, like
Yeah.
comment, tag
I'm
them.
hungry.
Yeah, Kate's hungry. Send them her way.
I appreciate that.
Okay, Kate, I have a request.
Okay.
Just in the spirit of friendship and traditions, I would like to request a trophy tour.
Oh,
Yeah.
trophies, you say?
Yes, yes. I hear you
Wow.
might have a couple.
I just so happen to have one on display right behind me here. This was the first one. I like to keep it in a place just, where I can see it. This is my Andre Agassi trophy.
Yes.
Australian Open Wimbledon. Yeah, on top of the TV set. Yeah, just, in a place that I can see it every day, really.
This was completely unexpected. Bailey gave me this, I think, for Christmas.
A
A
couple
couple
years
years
ago,
ago.
yeah.
It says number one angel, number one blessing, number one girlfriend, most beautiful women on earth. Again, not beating the lesbian allegations. We're fine with that. Yeah, I was staying with my parents in Virginia when she gave this to me, and I put it on their mantle, and then come back a couple hours later, and my mom has moved it and put it behind closed doors in the guest room. And I was like, oh, I guess everybody didn't want to look at that. And then last year, different award. Sorry, I gotta clean it. I haven't been,
We need the like hand behind the the influencer hand so we can read what it says.
yeah, but
You'll just have to read it
I'm
to us.
ashamed because it has fingerprints all over it right now.
It's been well
But it
loved.
says Kate Moz Lifetime Beetle Achievement Award and 2024 Hottest MILF of the Year, because I got my dog last year. And it says the angel with the biggest heart and the most beautiful face. Kate, you mean everything to us now and forever. The Binky babies, which is Bailey and her dogs. Yeah.
Amen.
She's a little over the top, but
Hey,
we love it.
everyone
And
needs a trophy.
I remember posting that, and the guy that I was talking to at the time was like, "What'd you get an award for?"
You're like, oh, this whole thing? Just being
And
the
I
most
was just
beautiful
and
woman
he
on
was
earth.
like- He was like, "Sounds promising." I was like, "Yeah."
I mean, those
And
are
then
your
he fumbled.
accolades.
Yeah.
Your accolades. They need to be on display. Like, I'm gonna champion you. I'm gonna
People
like
should know.
you deserve a gold medal. You're gonna have a
Thank
wall
you.
of trophies. I just love you so much, and I hope that you
I
never
love
forget
you.
it.
Right back
And I
at
hope
you.
it's a
Babe.
constant reminder.
Hey, it is.
Oh,
She's enthusiastic about her
hey,
love for me.
it's all love
Yeah, women supporting women.
forever.
And it really sets the bar for how you'll allow yourself to be treated in romantic relationships. You know,
That's
like if
true.
a guy I date isn't saying this stuff
Yeah.
to me, then it's kind of like, well, why? Like, you
Yeah.
hate me? Or
That's true. Rise to the occasion. Like, set the bar even higher. That's what I'm saying.
agreed.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks for being mine.
And thanks to all of our new friends, Bailey's friends who are now my friends, and my friends who love you. It's really, there's a lot of love going around.
I know. And I'm into it. Oh, shout out Mr. Big Boss.
Hey.
Hey.
We're-
Onwards and upwards. And we can't wait for next week. We will be bringing some some fun, more levity, more joy.
Let us know if you watch Frankenstein, and be yourself, and good luck out there.
Yeah, good luck out there during retrograde. If you're feeling it,
Honestly.
let us know. You're not
I'm
alone.
sweating. I'm glad we made it through this, right? We've only got like 3 more retrogrades to do.
Sweet dreams.
Moz Dreamy. Dream TV.
Dream TV.
You are now entering Dream TV.